We got two fantastic fighters, not in the best matchup. Can't make good matchups, what do? You stack good talent. You got two talented guys that the world wants to see, crossover appeal with their fan bases. I don't know, call me crazy. I think this might be a brilliant move.
Welcome into Boxing Scene's top stories here on Pro Box TV. Our next top story, you know what? I have some sympathy for this one. Why? Because I share a studio and a desk a lot of time with two champs, Paulie Malignaggi and Chris Algieri. So I understand Jaron Boots Ennis, right? Not only is he taking on Kyron Chookagian in a fight where we believe that he already had a wipeout the last time, they're fighting again, on the same card is Bam Rodriguez defending his title against Pedro Guevara. So, gentlemen, I understand being the guy that maybe not everybody's looking at when it comes to boxing knowledge here, but Paulie, explain to me this kind of undercard where Bam Rodriguez, incredibly entertaining. As I said, the main event, a rematch that really nobody asked for. Boots Ennis could be a star, but this rematch doesn't do anything for him. Explain this booking, if you can, to me.
Okay,
please.
I'm going to defer a second to the champ, Chris, because he's done more Bam fights, and he's been there live. I have not been to these, but could it be Pedro Guevara? Is this the same guy that fought Leo Santa Cruz like a century ago? Could it be that because of the opponent? Is it the same Pedro Guevara? He was a guy who fought Leo Santa Cruz like it feels like the 90s.
I think he beat Maloney recently.
Okay, so it's not, maybe it's not Guevara. Okay, yeah. I was going to say maybe it's the opponent.
I don't think you're wrong, though, because the past couple fights for Bam, he's fighting like legit stars.
Super guys, yeah. Like guys that you like, where it's like head-on collisions to see who's going to rule that lower weight class area. And this is more like an opponent that, okay, it's respectable. You said he just beat Maloney, who was a solid guy. But it's not like you're talking about Guevara, you're talking about Bam, and you're like, oh my goodness, who's going to control the lower weight classes? While these other opponents he's had lately, it's like, wow, who is the king of the lower weight classes? Because this guy has a claim and this guy has a claim. Guevara really doesn't really have that kind of claim. So I'm thinking that this is playing the second fiddle to Boots Ennis right now, because think about it, you're still a lower weight class guy. For lower weight class guys to get this kind of attention, they need to have these head-on collisions with guys on their level consistently. And there's only so many of those. He's basically cleaning house, is Bam. So this is a little bit of a step down as far as the anticipation of a big fight. And again, not to disrespect Guevara completely. Again, he seems solid, but it's not that, oh my goodness, can't wait to see this matchup. Right now, I can't wait to see Bam. So just Bam against anybody. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Gervonta Davis does it against sometimes, whoever, the guy who comes in and cleans up after we're done in the studio here. And then he's on pay-per-view. So I get it. I get the whole thing. And even Canelo will do that at times. But, it's, Jaron Ennis is the guy who you're looking to push a little bit. Maybe the opposition is there. But Chookagian went the distance with Ennis. Am I right?
He did.
So, that's a rarity as well. A guy with this is with Jaron. So Jaron maybe has something to figure out with him, too, to try to stop him. Chookagian was a sturdy, stubborn guy. And we'll see if Jaron can get him out of there. So the question is more about Jaron. Again, at welterweight, Jaron is more upside as far as that star power. I'm not saying Bam doesn't have that star power, but you need the opposition in front of you. Jaron, if you get to a certain point at those weight classes, you're a star no matter what.
Well, with Chookagian, what I want to ask you, Chris, is once again a rematch of a fight, as Paulie pointed out, went the distance, but a wipeout for Boots Ennis. Does he need the knockout in this one? Does he need to kind of leap over the bar that he set last time?
Does he need to? No. Should he? Yes. He should go for it. Absolutely. I'm sure he will. But this could be another situation where it's like, all right, get the win, look good tomorrow. So get the win tonight, look good tomorrow. Just keep the belt. That's what this is about. Because he could have bypassed this fight, but he's got to give up the IBF belt, which we see that the IBF, it is the IBF, right?
Yeah, and he waited so long to get these belts because they were being held hostage.
It didn't make sense for him to, I said take the fight. People were talking about, don't do that fight, it's a bad fight. Take the fight. Defend your belt. You already beat the guy. Beat him again. Try and knock him out. Make a statement, whatever. I actually think this promotion is brilliant. You bring in Jesse Bam Rodriguez, who's fighting a step down in opponent, no offense to the guys to Guevara, but based on the other guys that he's been fighting lately. He's been fighting superstars, lights out main events. This isn't that. You bring now Mexican fan base, because people are following Bam already. Bam has been selling at arenas. I've seen Bam in Dallas. I've seen Bam in Arizona. Bam is a star. You bring Bam over to the East Coast. You introduce Bam Rodriguez and his super exciting style to the East Coast fans. You get to see him live. When are these people in the New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia area ever going to take a trip to see Bam in Arizona or Texas? They're not. So now you get to see Bam live and in person, and Bam is something special. Guess what? Jaron Ennis is something special too. Now, Mexican fans who are going to be tuning in and who even may make the trip to Philadelphia. Hey, it's a boxing town. I've never been to Philly before. Here's the reason to go. We're following our guy Bam. They get introduced to Jaron Ennis. You get to see Jaron Ennis in action, even against a guy like Chukhadzhian, who isn't the most fun. Jaron's still Jaron. We got two fantastic fighters, not in the best matchup. Can't make good matchups, what do? You stack good talent. You got two talented guys that the world wants to see, crossover appeal with their fan bases. I don't know, call me crazy. I think this might be a brilliant move.
I'll tell you what, I think Chukhadzhian can make you look bad too. So there's also, there's also something there for Jaron as well. He's the kind of guy you beat and maybe he doesn't make you look so great. Like I said, he's sturdy, he's stubborn. So
he moves a lot.
Yeah, there's some question marks there for Jaron as well in this fight because you're trying to attract a different fan base to go watch him. You need him to look good. And then just so all the nut huggers out there don't misunderstand me, I'm not criticizing Gervonta Davis in terms of the kind of fighter he is. Every once in a while he does give us a dud on pay-per-view and gives us one of these random opponents. Back in the day, I come from the old school, bro. Back in the day, Oscar De La Hoya was a pay-per-view fighter, but when he fought Patrick Charpentier, for example, he came off of pay-per-view because he knew the opponent sucked and he gave it to everybody for free. Then he went back on pay-per-view when the matchup warranted it. Guys today don't do that, and that's why I'm making that comparison because I can respect Bam for doing this. I can respect. He's given us him versus Guevara. He's not giving it to us in a main event where, when it really certainly pales in comparison to the other main events he's given us. So it's a respectable move here, and I agree with the champ. A solid card once you put it together.
Now, Chris, is he being a company guy here, Bam? Is it one of those things where he's helping out the promotion, he's helping out the card, as you said, kind of, scratch my back.
Or is he respecting the fans? Is he respecting the fans?
I'm very glad you asked that question, Jimmy. One, I know Bam. Bam don't care. Bam wants to fight. I'm telling you, Bam is such a throwback dude. He just wants to fight. He doesn't care who, when, where, or why. I want to fight. He doesn't even care about the money. He likes to fight, dude. Yeah, money's important. He wants money, but he wants to fight. Also, though, if I know Eddie in the relationship, Eddie's probably saying, hey, man, we got something big down the line. Let's just get this one out the way. I know you want to fight. I know you want to stay busy. Get this fight, get this defense in. And then I promise you so-and-so right here, in here. Now we're going to do this in San Antonio. We're going to do this in Phoenix. I know Bam loves fighting in San Antonio. I love when he fights in San Antonio. I've been to a couple of his fights there. The fans come out. So I would imagine down the line we're going to see that. But in terms of Bam and his mentality, bro, he don't care. He'll fight on Mars. It doesn't matter.
This idea, this cross-pollination of fans, Paulie, how do you like that? East Coast getting to know an Arizona guy, a guy who fights a lot in the Southwest. What do you think that does for his brand? Should he have a great performance?
Yeah, I've said this in another one of our shows where, to create a star, you first have to create that local grassroots star power, right? And then from there, you sort of start to spread it out intelligently. You know how to move it around intelligently. I don't mind this. Bam has started to get a lot of attention. He's created that grassroots West Coast Mexican-American following, which is becoming very, very big. He's done it in very, very big fights and had terrific performances in very, very big fights. Then he's beaten international sensations like Sarung Sai and Edwards on those shows as well. So that's gotten eyeballs from other countries and other fan bases curious about him. And he's done the work, he's done the deed against those guys. So now if you pick him up and travel him a little bit, you're doing all the right thing. This cross-pollination, that's a good way to put it, Jimmy. You're making all the right moves. You're putting him a little bit here, a little bit there. As long as he keeps performance, the legend will grow.
Hopefully it's a good night for both fighters. Both have great names and could have bright futures. We'll be covering that news, as always, here on ProBox TV. Download the ProBox TV app and never fall behind in your boxing news. Always more to come.
Wednesday Night Fights.
Dynamite action on Wednesday Night Fights every other Wednesday on your boxing channel.
Coming up on your next Wednesday Night Fights, October 9th. Chris, Primetime Colbert, and Omar Super Salcido step into the ring for what is sure to be a barn burner. Live from the ProBox Event Center in Plant City. Get your tickets at ProBoxTV.com or take your chances at the door. Wednesday Night Fights.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.